is that even if we had an appraiser tell us last week we had a young couple or a couple buddies were buying a rental house together just as an investment, and the appraiser called and he's like, "This is so stupid because I know for a fact this house is worth every penny these guys are paying for it, every penny. I have no doubt in my mind. I can't prove it.
No comps.
I cannot prove it, and I have nothing to show for it. I know for a fact that if they don't buy it, there's 4 people in line behind them that will buy it at that price. And what is a price really worth? It's worth what you and I, in a competitive environment, can afford to pay for it, are willing to pay for it. That's the value of something, and not what some guy puts on a piece of paper. And yet, I think I mentioned last week, these individuals backed out of the transaction, not because they couldn't finance it, because in their own mind they're like, well, it didn't appraise.
Yeah.
And I said, dude, it didn't appraise because you found a house that was so clean and needed absolutely nothing. It was such an ideal rental that compared to all the other crap that you're going to look at, this one was about $5,000 or $6,000 more. You're going to spend that over here just fixing the junk up.
Right.
So what do you want to do? You want to buy a piece of crap and fix it? Some people do. That's cool.
Sure. That's why we have the 203K.
But these individuals are working every single day. And I'm like, you could have a tenant in here 55 seconds after you close escrow on this thing,
right,
and it will cover itself. Pay the money. You got it. I mean, it's worth it. They just couldn't bring themselves to do it. And so we have two problems, right? We got a mentality problem with our buyers. We're thinking, I got to get a steal on everything, or I can't pay more than the next guy. And then we have an appraisal problem that if we can't finance it.
I think we're going to see that changing over the next, 4, 5, 6 months based on the panels we've been listening to and hearing a lot of this going on. A lot of people speculating and saying based at LA Times and everywhere else that we're at or near bottom. And I think truly we may be.
I think we are in this area, and we'll talk about some more about that too. Off the text line again at 441140, our same texter texts back, said, yeah, the house is in Land Park. No upgrades since then. So this is what I would do, Steve. He put his name on there. If you like the house, educate yourself to whatever extent you can, Zillow, however you want to do it. Make an offer and make your offer contingent on an appraisal. And the appraiser will come out there. The appraiser will give you a value, and then you can go back to the seller. And that's one of your contingencies, right? You go back to the seller and say, I was off a little bit on my offer, and this is what I can finance. Would you take it? And most sellers, if it's, unless they think that it's a reasonable value, will say, yeah, I'll take it, or I'll take something close to it. So do it.
Yeah,
do it for sale by owner, and let her go. Did we get an answer? We did get an answer to our quiz question, by the way. Okay. No, it was not cell phone signals. It was. We give away 2 IMAX tickets. So we're exposed to what, John? And what are we exposed to in 24 hours?
News and information.
News, information, emails, and all that good stuff. So we get more news and information and data coming into our brain in a 24-hour cycle today than a person 60 years ago did in their whole lifetime. So, and if they were in North Dakota, it was 160 years ago.
So that's why,
or 6 days ago.
So that's why all our heads spin all day long, because there's way too much information.
That's
out
right.
there.
We could just sit here for this 2 hours and do quiet time, just to kind of catch up. We'll do heads up, thumbs up, 7 up, or whatever that game was we played. Let's go to Jay. Jay, welcome to Talking Money. How you doing?
Hey, guys. Hey, that's what I was going to say. My goodness, I wish you would have gotten to me earlier, because God knows I need that margarita machine. I've had 4 people sell on my block, one next to me on the left, one on the right, and both across the street. I mean, it's killing me.
And Jay, what area are you in? You don't have to tell us what street you're on, but what area are you in?
Up north. We're just in Yuba City, Marysville.
Oh, yeah. No question.
We're in a great neighborhood. My question, though, guys, is how close are we for people in Congress for them to help mortgages that are not Fannie and Freddie? I know there's the HART program or whatever it is that they have for Fannie and Freddie, but what's going to be or how long down the road is there going to be some help or an option for people that don't have Fannie and Freddie?
And who owns your loan right now?
Indy.
Who? Indy Mac?
Yeah.
Which doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly.
Well, you want some margaritas, Jay?
Yeah, I need the margarita machine. I mean, it's a bad time. And you guys were talking about being bottom. I agree. I mean, the worth question is really good too, because it's worth, our home is wonderful. We love it. And it's, is it a tough time as far as mortgages and high, high payments? Yeah, sure. But, it's a wonderful place that we're in, but, we're just, we're always looking ahead and thinking, okay, where is the light spot? And, it's pretty dark right now, but at the same time, there's still, the home is in really good shape.
So as a percentage, how far upside down do you think you are? So do you owe twice as much as it's worth, or 50%?
Probably not that. Probably not twice, but probably about half of that.
Okay, about 50% upside down, which is about normal.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not. It seems like it is. I mean, people around in this area, even in all over the place. I think that seems to be a normal thing. And it's funny. It's kind of an easier pill to swallow. Like it's when everybody's with you.
Yeah. When we're all drunk at the table together, we all geniuses. Now, if you were going to go out and rent that same house today, would your payment be similar to what you're paying now? Or are you paying pretty much a lot more than you could rent? You could go out and rent on the market for?
Probably we're paying a little more.
Okay.
A lot more.
Okay. So the answer is, some of the, and have you called IndyMac or had any kind of discussion with them?
No, not with them.
Okay. So I always suggest just try it. I mean, to call and see if they're working on any kind of a modification program on their own. Some of the big banks, if you think back about a month or 6 weeks ago, announced the B of A, Chase, GMAC maybe, Citi, right. I think, was announced they were going to try to come up with their own sort of a settlement. And it was kind of a two-pronged approach. It was, we're tired of the feds smacking us upside the head, so we're going to kind of come to some sort of a settlement, kind of a foreclosure prevention settlement, and we're going to come in and kind of agree to modify some of our balances back for the non-FHA Fannie Freddie people. But IndyMac wouldn't be in that group because IndyMac's not a bank.
Right.
So here's the taxpayer question for you, Jay. You have to take yourself out of your own house and you put yourself back in your taxpayer mindset. We, the taxpayers, and including you, Jay, have absolutely no obligation and no loss risk of your loan. So if you don't pay, we as taxpayers don't lose a dime. IndyMac or whoever took over IndyMac and their holding company and the investors, they lose their money. The taxpayers of the country, including yourself, don't lose a dime if Jay doesn't make his payments.
Well, that's good, Dan, because there are those ethical questions. We like, we are. That's definitely never an option for us we thought that because you don't want to take or you don't want to be a part of, or take away from taxpayers' dollars, and also I don't know about the credit hit that you take. I mean, we've got a good situation, and you always kind of want to make sure that stays that way.
Yeah, there's no question. And so Jay is talking about the moral hazard then of doing something either for himself, but from a purely but the question started out from Jay was, when will the feds come up with a plan for the rest of us? And the feds are looking around and saying, we're not already on the hook for you. I don't want to bring a bigger mess to the table.
Right.
If we're not obligated to, we didn't co-sign on your loan, so we're not going to co-sign on your loan. And I think that's what you're going to find. Very little reluctance for the Fed to say, we'll pick you guys up. They would rather go to the individual investors and individual banks and say, you know what, you guys work it out and get this thing resolved. So I think that's a better answer. I'm going to put Jay back on hold. We're going to give Jay something, whatever. If Jay wants the margarita machine, I think they'll go to Yuba City, and we'll check it out. If not, we'll give him something else. We'll put Jay back on. Jay, good call and good question, and good luck to you up there in Yuba City.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks for giving us a call. We got to take a break there, Chris. Yeah, you want to jump on another quiz question there, Johnny, real quick?
Sure. So the YMCA. So working out. The question is the why. There's a why. They're losing an average. They're losing things every day, and they're spending how much a year?
No,
let me rephrase this.
They're spending $50,000 a year on what? Right?
On lost something.
Yeah,
from their gym.
They're spending $50,000. This was an article about the one I think in New York City.
Yep.
But it goes by other businesses too. So, but the YMCA, this particular YMCA and others like it, are spending $50,000 a year as a line item to do replace what? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 441140. And when we come back in the next week, we're going to give away an iPad too. Jack. We'll be right back.
Yes.